Hi, I'm Nicholas from RTINGS.com. Today we'll be doing a review of the Samsung The Frame 2022. We'll be evaluating it on our standardized test bench to see how it performs and if you should buy it. We bought and tested the 65-inch model, and we expect the 55, 75, and 85-inch models to perform the same. There are also 32, 43, and 50-inch models available, but they have a few less features like a lower refresh rate, so they perform differently. This TV is an updated version of the 2021 model of the frame and is part of Samsung's lifestyle TV lineup. The standout feature of the frame is the design. It looks more like a piece of art than a TV. The borders are squared off and their standard color is black. You can buy bezel covers separately to give the TV a different look, but not all sizes are available with the same colors. The stand consists of wide set feet that hold the screen well, but there's still a bit of wobble. You can adjust the height of the stand to raise the screen nearly 3 inches off the table, so most soundbars won't block the screen. It also comes with a slim fit wall mount if you want to mount it flush against the wall, which the TV is designed for. Unlike most TVs, it comes with a dedicated box that houses all the inputs. There's only one input in the TV that you hook up to the One Connect box, and the cable for it is transparent so it's not distracting with the TV wall mounted. It has 4 HDMI ports, and the 55-inch and larger variants have HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on one port. This means that if you're lucky enough to have both the PS5 and Xbox Series X, only one of them would get to use the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth unless you keep switching the plugs. Keep in mind that the 32, 43, and 50-inch variants have HDMI 2.0 bandwidth on all their ports. The TV supports HDR10+, but not Dolby Vision, which is disappointing because a lot of streaming content is in Dolby Vision. Also, you can pass high-quality audio to a compatible receiver with the eARC support, but it only supports Dolby Atmos signals and not DTS:X, which is a common format with Blu-rays. Lastly, the tuner supports ATSC 1.0 and not 3.0, which means you can't stream over-the-air 4K channels. The back of the 65-inch TV fits the VESA 400 by 300 mount standard, so you can wall mount it with a third-party mount or use the dedicated slim fit wall mount. The build quality is excellent. It's all plastic and it's well put together without any obvious flaws. The biggest downside is that the One Connect cable is hard to plug into the TV, but this isn't a problem once you plug it in for the first time. Now on to our test results, and we'll start with the contrast. A high contrast ratio results in deep, dark blacks, which is good if you want to watch movies in a dark room like a home theater environment. The frame has a high native contrast ratio for deep blacks in a dark room, but it doesn't have a local dimming feature to further improve it. On the other hand, if you want to use the TV in a bright room, then a high peak brightness is important to overcome glare. The SDR peak brightness is great, and it's enough to fight glare if you have some lights around. Looking at the HDR peak brightness, it's okay and some highlights pop, but small highlights aren't brighter than the rest of the screen. This means you'll get a decent enough HDR experience, but it's not anything special. Also important for a bright room is good reflection handling. This TV uses a matte screen finish with great reflection handling, which is different than past models of the frame, which used a semi-gloss screen finish. You normally find matte finishes on monitors instead of TVs, and it helps absorb light and reduce the direct reflections. This makes the TV look more like a canvas, especially when you have it in art mode, giving it the unique art look that it's aiming for. However, the main downside to a matte finish is that it introduces haziness to images, but you have to sit close to notice any difference. If you have a wide seating arrangement or like to watch TV with family and friends, then a good viewing angle helps ensure no one sees washed out colors or crushed details. Sadly, it has a narrow viewing angle and the image looks washed out from the sides. This means that you need to sit directly in front for the most accurate image possible. An overall uniform screen brightness and color is important when looking at uniform areas, like some artwork, to avoid the appearance of clouding known as the dirty screen effect. The frame has decent gray uniformity, but there are some darker areas towards the bottom of the screen. This is noticeable when watching sports with large playing surfaces or when displaying artwork that has large areas of the same color, like if there's a sky or field. A lot of people care that a TV has good colors. In this case, the frame has a good color gamut. It has good coverage of the common DCI-P3 color space. However, it's not future-proof for HDR content because it has limited Rec 2020 coverage, and more content will start to use that color space. It also has impressive out-of-the-box accuracy in SDR that makes colors look accurate without any calibration. Some TVs struggle to display smooth gradients, so when watching a movie with a sunset, some banding can be visible. As for the frame, it has impressive gradient handling. There's a bit of banding in darker shades, but it's not that noticeable. Now, let's take a quick look at the gaming performance. When playing video games, a fast response time is important for the clearest image without distracting blur. It has an excellent overall response time, so there's not too much blur trail behind fast-moving objects. However, it has a slow response time with dark transitions, which leads to some black smearing. It's common for Samsung TVs to use pulse width modulation to dim the backlight, and this TV is no exception. Pulse width modulation is when the backlight flickers to dim the brightness of the TV, and if it's a slow flicker, it can be noticeable. The frame flickers at 960 Hz in movie mode, which is high enough that you won't notice it. However, the flicker drops down to 120 Hz in other picture modes, including game mode, which can cause image duplication and is more noticeable. If you're sensitive to flicker and you're not gaming, it's best to stay in movie mode. A low input lag is also important for a responsive feel when playing video games, and thankfully this TV is remarkable in this regard. You won't feel any delay whether you're gaming with 60 Hz or 120 Hz signals. Speaking of gaming, this TV supports all of the common signals up to 120 Hz in 4K, so you won't have any issues playing games from the Xbox Series X and PS5. It does support variable refresh rates too, which is good for a nearly tear-free gaming experience on both consoles, and VRR works without issue. Keep in mind that the 55-inch and larger sizes have a 120 Hz panels, but the 32, 43, and 50-inch models are limited to 60 Hz and don't support VRR, so they're not as good for gaming. The sound of this TV is alright, which is about typical of many TVs. It gets loud, and there isn't much distortion or artifacts at moderate listening levels, so dialogue sounds clear. However, it doesn't produce much bass, and there's more distortion at the max volume. Like with any TV, you should get a soundbar or proper speakers for the best sound possible. The frame uses the same Tizen Smart platform as other Samsung TVs. It's user-friendly with a ton of apps you can download, and navigating through the menus is smooth. It comes with the same remote as other Samsung TVs, but in white. It has a built-in mic that you could use for voice control with Google Assistant, Bixby, and Alexa. With this TV, you have access to Samsung's Art Store to download artwork to display on the TV. It comes with over 60 paintings by default, and if you want to download more from the Art Store, you'll need to pay a subscription. You can also upload photos and save them to the TV, which has about 7 GB of free space. So, this brings us to the main question. Should you buy this TV? The Samsung The Frame is a unique TV that you should get if you want it to look like a piece of art. It's an improvement over the 2021 model of the frame because the matte coating really makes it look like a canvas, which is something most TVs can't do. If you're deciding between the 2022 and 2021 models of the frame, the 2022 version is definitely an upgrade in terms of what it's meant for, and it has slightly better overall picture quality. However, if you're not planning on using the art mode, and if you want something for watching movies, shows, or playing video games, there are better options out there. The frame is pricey for what it offers, and in the same price range, you could get something like the Samsung QN85B. It has local dimming, HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on all 4 ports, and it gets much brighter for a better HDR experience.